I don't think it makes a material change because there's only so many people or companies that own 3 investment properties, and there's even less that own 5. So the move from 3 to 5 is going to reduce the number of people who could be paying the tax down, but not by a material sum. I don't think it changes that much. And what it still doesn't do is go for the threshold. So somebody could buy a property at $1 million, sell it at 1.5, make 500,000, pay no tax. Someone could buy 5 studios, make 50,000 and pay tax. So the number of units as opposed to the value and the amount of profit is confusing. So I think it's it's still an opportunity lost because I still think you could make more tax if you tax things slightly differently.
The Minister has highlighted the reasons for this being to make that tax on those sales, make sure that we are collecting that tax, and to avoid prices going as high as we've seen them go. Will this change allow working people who want to buy a home a chance at buying them at a less inflated price overall?
I don't think that will make any difference because, firstly, there's only tax to pay once you sell those properties. So if you buy those properties, whether you did in 1990 or whether you did yesterday, you're only paying tax once you sell. So if you want immediate tax, you use stamp duty. And then will it allow more people to buy? Not really, because every time there's an off-plan development, the developer needs to sell 60 or 70% of those units before they can get money from a bank. That's the bank insisting upon that. There's simply not enough owner-occupiers who have got 30% deposit to put down. So if investors don't buy, there's not enough owner-occupiers to sell 60 or 70%. So those buildings won't get built. If buildings aren't built, prices go up. So the opposite effect could happen. It depends on the impact of the tax to these investors. Will they continue to buy? They might do, not saying they won't, but tax does change behaviour. So, but I still think it's a missed opportunity because the original intent from the budget speech was to tax trading. In most people's minds, trading is when you buy something, then sell it quickly, not 50 years later. So I think most people who are challenging the bill would say, well, if you buy a parking space tomorrow for £20,000 and sell it the next day for £30,000, you've made 10 rather quickly. And this bill doesn't capture that. 1, because it only captures residential properties, and 2, you haven't got 5. So you're not taxed, whereas I would say tax trading from the time, so if you buy and sell within a year or 2, for example, tax it, but tax everything. Parking spaces, 1 or 2, don't have lower thresholds.
Are you and others in the industry just not keen on this measure because you're making money out of the way things are?
No, I think most people in the industry are very much pro GIB PLC. If there's no buyers for the property, then the property market is no good. So everybody wants a fervent sort of active property market. I think everybody is happy that trading is taxed, but this is taxing long-term gains. And I think it's the wrong solution to the problem that was raised. And I'm not sure that I've heard anybody say that they're against taxing property trading. But this is long term.
But if we spook investors, you stand to lose, right?
If we spook investors, I think Gibraltar will stand to lose because the population is growing. We need to house them. We need an active private rented sector because most people in gaming and the finance sector, they're renting. They're renting in the private rented sector. They're not in the government system. And so you need those properties. Don't forget, only a few years ago, there were tax incentives for investors to purchase. That was the reaction from COVID. Now there's a disincentive. But Gibraltar needs that active investors buying to create the stock.